Well, one of the main things is we gotta get rid of that back-end parking. When that got installed, 11 businesses downtown went out of business. So that was a bad move by the city, and it was basically taking out small businesses and letting bigger developers come in. So that's one. Two, also support locally, spend locally. As one of the other candidates said, you know, every dollar that's spent in San Marcos multiplies by 7. There's, by the way, I love Mexican food, and there's one great place right by the rooftop bar we can get some great tacos. And I talked to him, and he said, and I talked to him last time, like 2 days ago, because I go there pretty often. And he said, my dream is to actually make enough out of here so that I can build something downtown. And I told him, hey, you have a great product, you have a great entrepreneurial mind. I support you want to move from a small little food vending truck to a brick and mortar. So you got to support locally, you got to spend locally. Thank you.
He's right. Bricks and mortar is the goal. That is the prize, and I'm grateful that I have that prize. And lots of people ask me about how to get there, and I always advise people. I go to campus and I speak to college organizations continuously. The best thing I can do for, and have done for small business is, I'm the president of the Downtown Association. I live with the policy making that takes place that is in spirit good, but at the end of the day, not user friendly for a small business. I'm on the Economic Development Board, part of the piece that helps to generate those jobs that we talk about that we want and appreciate, Amazon, etc. And so my point is, what are we in policies place doing for the small business? And because I've lived it, I live it, I interact in it, and it is my life. I know back in parking, I see it. I'm the only guy up here that lives it more than anyone. And so my point is this, my experience in that small business component will absolutely have that ground floor access to my thought process and yours, because I see you.
Thank you for the question about what will we do, what have we done. First off, I'm going to talk a little bit about downtown real quick. Downtown is a fantastic place for small businesses to grow and prosper. And some of the things that we've done in our downtown that assist, especially small businesses, are our sign grant program. So if you want to upgrade your sign, come into compliance, or you just want a new cool sign, we have a grant for that. We have a facade grant. So if you want to improve your storefront or you want awnings, we have grant programs that we fund every single year for that. Last year, we added a $200,000 business improvement grant. So if you want to start a restaurant, you need to install a commercial sprinkling system, or if you need extensive renovations, we now have the business improvement grant as well. Another thing we've done and that I voted for and supported is we spent $14 million on improving our downtown streets, drainage, and various utilities. All these things help the small business owner in San Marcos.
Yes, my name is Andrew Blanton, and I'm a Bobcat alumni.
I'll talk fast. I think one of the best things that we can do is stop putting abatements to new small restaurants coming into town, chain restaurants coming into town, when we have restaurants here that are struggling to survive. We've got listen, San Marcos has a very high tax rate, given the amount of sales tax that we have coming in compared to other cities. So our property tax rate is incredibly high. So when we're talking about how are we going to help small business, how about we stop taxing them to death? Let's give them some relief. There's a lot of different, in a short amount of time, a lot of different ways we can do that. But I don't think new programs are the way we need to go. I think we need to start leaving them alone a little bit.
Okay, go ahead with your points.
Yes, my name is Andrew Blanton. I'm a Bobcat alumni. This year's budget for the City Council of San Marcos is $187 million, and the budget for next year is proposed at $193 million, a $5 million increase. If we elect any of them, do you plan to cut the budget of the City Council by even a single cent?
Run that last part by me one more time.
Yes, if elected, will any of you reduce the budget of the city council by even a single cent?
Well, I would say taxes are important to me. That's one of the things that's on my website, and it's one of the things that I've actually talked to Sam a little bit about, is we do need tax relief. So that is something we need to explore, is how we're going to do it. As far as cutting the budget, we actually have a lot of things that are not funded yet that need to be funded. So instead of cutting the budget, what we need to do is actually take a scalpel and cut some of the fat away from it. One of the key examples is, true story, there's a $100,000 requisition in the 2017 budget for a drone for the city. And I talked to a gentleman that actually makes drones, and I told him, hey, top of the line, best drone you can get me, what can you get? And when I told him how much we're supposed to pay for it, he said, no, that's somebody's somebody's going to take that money and run, because the best drone in the market is going to be $2,700. So why is there $100,000 in the budget for a drone when you can get it serviced for $2,700? And he said, I'll give you my name if anybody has any questions. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I can talk to him.
Well, waste is real, absolutely. And so I'd like to sell some of those $300 donuts, if you guys don't mind. It is. I'm the guy that has to get a nickel, slice it down the middle, and make it spend like 2 dimes. I have decisions I have to make on a daily basis to keep the lights on. I get taxed to death. I try to put up a new sign, but I get told I can't because it's just 3 inches too big. What am I going to do about it? I can't put that one up, even though it's historical. It seems to go on deaf ears. So my hurt is real. My reality is be efficient, be lean, be most frugal with our tax dollars, and by default, we'll go further, which can be viewed as savings.
I've been a small business owner here in the city of San Marcos for 24 years, so I understand what it's like to operate on a razor-thin margin. And I can tell you that even a small increase in taxes can wreak havoc on a business budget. But I will let you know that I've spent hundreds of hours poring over the city budget during my time on city council. I voted to support important city services like our police and fire department. Next year, we plan on introducing fire-based emergency medical services. So if you have an emergency, if you have a health issue in your home, we are going to send the fire department instead of operating with a county multi-jurisdictional ambulance service. This is going to give much better service to our residents, but we have to make sure that we pay those bills. We have to continue to make the crucial investments in our public safety to keep our families safe. Our budget grows when our revenues grow, not because we're just spending enough money.
Our revenues grow when they increase taxes, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. We have the ability to keep people's property taxes flat. And as new property, new development comes on the books, that can provide the growth in the budget. That's what we call growth paying for itself. And that's, in a normal world, what we would have. But 5 years at the city, 5 years at the county, and we just kind of got conditioned that every year it has to grow. It doesn't have to be that way. I guess the last thing. City has to pay attention to infrastructure. We have some very basic services. Everything after that we look at, but I don't see any reason why we should have to cut budgets. It's restraining the growth.
I believe, if I'm correct, the question was, would I reduce the budget by even 1 cent either next year or the following year? I don't think that I would. As pointed out by my colleague, Mr. Mites, there are some essential things that are very important. And I believe that the citizenship of San Marcos needs to be protected. And how are you going to protect them? With fire, EMS, and police. And those are a large part of our city budget. That budget comes from things that are already set. We're not spending extra money. We didn't go out and look for more money. But I also believe that we need to plan for the growth that is coming towards San Marcos. that means that we need to increase the amount of police, that we need to increase the amount of firefighters, and especially if we're going to the firefighter EMS system, where now you've got to train them, because now, as it stands, we have just enough to get by, unless somebody gets sick or on vacation. And I don't want to hold the citizens of San Marcos by the throat if something happens, because we've got way too many people and there's too many calls at one time. So no, I don't think that I would reduce the budget, but I don't think that at this point I would spend more. But I would definitely fight to make sure that those jobs are taken care of.
Next question. Please keep it as tight as you can. The audience has been absolutely wonderful. I think we're stretching them a lot. So,
Hello, my name is Edward Ubisu, San Marcos born and raised. This question is directed towards John Condes. Outside of your obligations towards City Council, what will you do to serve this community?
What have I done or what will I do?
What will you do?
So I'll talk a little bit about both. Prior to my service on City Council, I served as my neighborhood representative. I was neighbors with Ms. Couch in the Heritage neighborhood. I lived there for 20 years, and I served that neighborhood for 3 years as president. And I can tell you that I also then, Councilmember Cox appointed me to a couple of city boards. Councilmember Houston also appointed me to a city board as well. So I spent a lot of time prior to getting elected serving my community. I've always participated in all of our community events, and I will continue to do so. If I happen not to get elected this year, I'm going to stay incredibly active in our community. I participate in a lot of community cleanups. I always make sure that I'm there to help clean up the trash in our city. And so I have just a long history and reputation of service to San Marcos because I love the city. It's a love affair with me, with our community and the citizens of it here. Thank you.
Well, my involvement is pretty long, and I kind of don't remember most of it because I just do it and it happens, and I keep going. But I was chair of the Main Street Advisory Board, Downtown Association president, president of Centro Cultural. I'm been appointed by council members here as well. I'm on the advisory board for the Hispanic Policy Network. I was one of the members of the Bobcat Athletic Foundation. Now, since 2003, member of the Bobcat Club. Served on the Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. Currently also serving on the economic development piece. I was on the board for the Chamber of Commerce. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I can keep going.
Well, thank you for that question. I currently am in the Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee, and when you have to fill out the form of which committees you want to serve on, there were so many different committees that I wanted to serve on, and I didn't know that you could only serve in a single one at once. So even if I'm not elected, I'm still going to be serving the Economic Committee, the Neighborhood Committee, the Historic Committee, whichever ones I can serve on, and whichever ones help the community. When I was at Texas State, one of my better memories was I used to go to the Baptist Student Ministry, and we used to have missions. Like we went to New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina, so we helped out there. But also we helped locally, and there was one house that she was a very elderly woman. She was like 85, I think it was, and she couldn't mow her yard. She couldn't help anything. So what we did with Baptist Student Ministry is 4 or 5 of us actually went out there and took care of her entire yard, helped her make the place nice again. So it's little things like that that you carry with you because you really help out somebody else. Thank you.
If not elected to the position, what will I do for my city? I'll continue to do what I was doing before. I'm very involved in my church, who has been here in this community for 62 years. I will continue to go out, and when a neighbor asks that they need help, I'll go and help them. Titles is not important. It doesn't matter what boards or commissions I've served on, because irregardless of those boards or commissions, I'm still part of the citizens here of San Marcos, and I'm going to continue to be that. Maybe it's helping someone understand what they need to get done because they have a question on how to do something with city government. Maybe they're not getting a good response and they need to know who to go to. But that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to be here for the people because I am part of the people, and I hopefully will be a voice for the people of this community.
I am a member of San Marcos Kiwanis, former board member there. I was one of the founding board members of the San Marcos, Texas Community Radio Station that's trying to get on the air right now. I was the organizer of the Fluoride Free San Marcos movement, a grassroots movement, 2.5-year effort to stop adding the dangerous hydrofluoric. In fact, I was up here last year talking about this next to a dentist. So my involvement has been very grassroots, it's been very bottom up, and it's all about the people who live here. And actually, I'm going to keep doing that because that's what feeds me. The friendships that I've made, you see some of these people wearing the blue shirts. I didn't always know these people. The friendships I've made have just made my life go that much better. So I just want to continue to be a positive part of this community and move things forward. Thank you.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Jenny McGinty. I've had the pleasure of growing up in Martindale, spending 13 years in San Marcos Consolidated, and even working with City Council in the past on comprehensive plans with several people in this room. And while I've been happy to see that more women have been on council, I'm disheartened to see that in meetings that sometimes their opinions are belittled, they're marginalized, and they're not treated equally as their male counterparts, and they're treated as though their opinions are not equal. So I'm wondering, what would you do if elected as mayor to make sure that these women's opinions are heard and that they're being treated equal in council?
Thank you. We're giving everyone an opportunity to answer that.
Well, it's part of my life, and I believe that women, I know, sorry guys, but I believe that women are smarter than us. I'm sorry, I come clean and it's on camera. Overall, that's just my reality. I respect the opinion of a woman a whole lot. It's a very big deal to me, and I won't be dismissive, and I won't be demeaning, and I won't be insulting in any way because their voice is absolutely important to my world.
Thank you for the question. I think that if that were the case, if that's your perception that that's the case, then that means that the city council and the mayor specifically need to make sure that the council as a whole works towards consensus and works to make sure that all voices are heard, that every council member's opinion and ideas are respected and included as part of any final product that we produce. One of the things that, and I agree with Ruben, I was raised by my mom and two older sisters. So I have I don't want to sound like Donald Trump, but I have a tremendous respect for women and but I truly do, and I think people that know my heart on this issue. But most importantly is for the council to work together, and I think the mayor plays a tremendous role in that, in making sure that everybody gets something, but nobody gets everything. And I think the outcomes work out much better for everybody.
I've heard stories of some of that. I'm not directly up to speed on what exactly went down. My leadership style is absolutely collaborative, and I view human beings as human beings. So I don't look at the gender as, I don't see differences like that. I look at the people that I work with, and volunteers that are with us today, I'm sure that they would tell you the same thing. It's just the way I operate. I respect everybody who's putting time in, and I want them to feel good about it, and I want us to get along well.
What would I do for the women on the council? Make sure that they are treated fairly and equally on the council? Well, that's just treat them like I treat every single person. I was raised a certain way to make sure that every person has a voice. Doesn't matter race, creed, color, gender, origin. People are still people. It's a voice for the people. And as mayor, it's our responsibility to make sure that everyone is treated fair, not only on the diocese, but every voice that comes before the diocese in citizen comment periods and everything else, and never disrespect someone's opinion just because you don't agree on it. And that's what I would make sure, that any woman on the diocese or on that council will be treated fairly and respectfully by all members that are sitting up there.
So this question comes back to that meeting where 3 of our women council members had to walk out to make sure that they were being heard. If I had been mayor in that meeting, I would have pushed that item further back and gotten them back in the room and talked about it. Instead, the 4 members, male members in that room, went ahead and voted on it and didn't even hear about it. So you can't stand here and say you respect women when you actually voted against them and didn't even want to hear them. 3 people that I respect the most in that council are the 3 women. And I'm standing on record saying that. Jane Houston, Ms. Derrick, and Lisa Pruitt. Those are the 3 that I respect the most in that council because they were our voice on that HEB issue.
Next question.
Hello, Enzo Quesada. One of the biggest issues that Hays County voters have this November is not actually a candidate in particular, but rather bond measures. And one of the most important one is the new jail bond, which I believe is going to cost over $100 million. So I'd just like to know your personal position on the new jail bond. Would you like to pass or not?
Yeah, it's actually a lot of my friends that are in opposition to that. We know a little bit too much about it. The jail is unnecessary. The consultant report said it was pretty much unnecessary. We've also got road bonds that, if you knew more about them, you'd probably agree that they're not really good spending of money. And that's kind of the cycle that we have to learn to break, is understanding what those issues are. And I'm kind of glad the question was brought up, even though it's not city business. I don't think we need to be throwing more people in jail. That's what breaks homes up in this town. That's what increases poverty in this town when we put people away. We're doing it. Most of the people in that jail right now are awaiting trial, innocent until proven guilty. And that's a problem. We don't need a bigger jail for that. Thank you.
I respectfully disagree with Mr. Brandon here, because unfortunately, we do have to pay for that jail. Because currently, what's happening is that that county jail is actually the city jail as well. So it would actually benefit the city if the county had their own jail, because currently we're both using the same jail. And unfortunately, I am from here. I was raised here. I know the community. I know the neighborhoods. And I don't think the jails are breaking up the families. And I'm sorry, I mean, if you're going to jail, there has to be a reason, even if you're waiting for trial. Then there's your chance to get out of jail.
I will also respectfully disagree with Ms. Brandon. That jail is overcrowded. It's so bad at the moment that they're having to shift inmates to other jails and having to pay for that. So as far as am I against it or for it, it's a Hays County issue, so I really wouldn't have much of a voice. I wouldn't be able to see what they're spending the money on as much as I did with the city budget. So do I support it? I see the need for it, and I see that it's going to be on the ballot. I'll more than likely vote for it because we do need that increased space. Because we're going to get 100,000 people between Austin and San Antonio in the next 5 years, and with that, it's going to come increased crime. It's just a reality of life. Thank you.
I'm in a similar position where I'm not familiar with the spending, and my tendency is to be frugal, and I'm sorry, that's just my way. And if we are shipping inmates to another county, why and how much is it and all that. I got a list of questions, to be truthful, and so my idea is, are we being most efficient? Can we do better? And if not, let's do it, and then what happens, and how much time does that buy us? And so my point is, I'm for infrastructure, no problem, because as a municipality, our job is police, emergency care, infrastructure, and economic development. It's PIE. That's the acronym I love to use. It's a simple task, and that happens to fall within that realm. And so it's necessary, fine, but it needs to be done efficiently.
I'll just say that I agree with Ruben. You know, I'm still formulating my position on the bond election for the jail itself. It's a county issue. I've been a little preoccupied and haven't studied it enough yet, but I still have a couple of weeks before I actually vote. So I'm going to continue to do that. I know some of the arguments that they've made make sense, but I also agree a little bit with Mr. Brandon. I do believe in criminal justice reform. And I do believe that we need to really reconsider, not just at the city level, but at the state level, how we handle low-level offenders. And there's a lot of people that are in jail. You know, you can go to jail for some very minor things here in the city of San Marcos. You spend the night. And I would really like to take a look at that. I know we've talked about that at our council, at our visioning session, and it's something that we would like to investigate a little bit further through the Texas legislature in the next legislative session. I do want to take just 1 second and let everybody know the city of San Marcos has not increased the tax rate in the last 11 years. And the last time we did it was for a bond election chosen by the citizens.
Okay. If all of you can refocus and go to your closing statements, we would enjoy hearing from you. Starting in the middle, going that way, and that way.
So once again, thank you, women voters. Thank you for inviting us all out, and thank you for putting up with us at 9:38 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for staying here until the very end, and we do appreciate you listening to the issues. There's only so much you can glean from a person's issues, stand on the issues, from about 25, 30 minutes standing here. So I do invite you to go to my Facebook page, and you'll see a whole list of issues that have been going on in San Marcos and where I stand in them. That's where you can see, hey, this is what's important in the city, and this is where he stands. So I'm pretty much a straight shooter, as you can probably tell tonight. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. What I'm for is protecting the river, protecting our neighborhoods, and getting better jobs. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Ruben Becerra, and I am very interested in conservation of space and place. Our identity will not, we won't let it, let's just be truthful. Our identity will not be erased. We are a wonderful, proud people of our tremendously wonderful, beautiful community. We love our river, we love our neighborhoods, we love our indigenous vibe that we have as a community, and I think my biggest, coolest gift is that the community has supported me in my effort to preserve the historical icons that I help represent. I just want to keep doing more of the same, but citywide. Thank you.
I think to be a successful mayor, you have to have firsthand knowledge and experience on the critical issues of really a myriad of very complex and complicated issues that affect our day-to-day lives. I do believe that I'm the only candidate that has this experience. I've served 5 years as mayor pro tem out of the 13 years of service that I've provided to the city. I don't believe that we can have a mayor in training. We need a mayor who's up to speed on these issues on day one. My name is John Tomites. I'm ready to serve on day one, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
The overriding issue that we're going to be facing is growth. And the big question there is who is going to be in control of how that growth takes place. We've seen traditionally it's the growth cloud in this community. We've seen in the last couple of election cycles that the community is choosing other options. We don't always get what we ask for, but we're looking for other options. I'm the one that's going to be here to protect our neighbors, our neighborhoods, our culture, and environment. We need to be the ones in charge of how the growth takes place, not swinging from the growth cloud. Thank you. Sam Brandon.
In closing, I just want to, first of all, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here this evening. Thank you guys for staying for this whole time. We do appreciate that very much. That comes from my heart. I want to let you guys know that I am going to protect our neighborhoods, our river, our parkland, and make sure that flood recovery continues to those that were affected so strongly during these floods. To make sure that we bring a fiscal responsibility to our city and hopefully a renewed common sense approach to our city government where sometimes we seem to lack. Remember, Montoya for mayor on November the 8th.
Thank you. This concludes tonight's debate. Thank you for the audience attention and patience. Thank you to all of the candidates. There's always more to say.